Hello, General Biology, and welcome back. This is Chapter 3, and we're in Section 3.2, and this is the second screencast for Section 3.2, or third screencast, I'm sorry, lost count. And we were talking about consumers, and consumers we had learned in the last screencast are going to be organisms that have to go out and get their food. They have to eat other organisms. And we learned about scavengers as one type of consumer, like a vulture that would eat off of a carcass of an animal that has been killed in some way. And the next type of consumer that we're going to talk about are herbivores. And if you take a look at that word herbivores, herbs are typically plants, and that's what an herbivore is. It's a plant eater. There is a macaw, which is a type of bird that gets its nutrients by eating plant leaves and roots and seeds and fruits. So there's other common herbivores that you're familiar with, like rabbits and cows and caterpillars and deer are herbivores. So we often refer to herbivores as primary consumers because they are going to eat the plants. They're the organisms that eat the plants. So they have a double name, herbivore or primary consumers for that. Can you think of any other primary consumers or herbivores that we didn't mention? Okay, think about those and write your list down so that you have some ideas of what herbivores are. Omnivores are another type of consumer, and omni in this case it means that they're going to eat both plants and animals, so they're going to be meat eaters as well as vegetation eaters. They have a variety of foods, berries from plants themselves, animals. So the type of organisms that fall under the category of omnivores are humans and bears and pigs are omnivores as well. And I'm trying to think, there are some birds that are omnivores that will eat both insects and seeds. Okay, so those just another type of consumer, and they eat both plants and animals. Detrivores. Now this is something that you probably haven't heard before as far as, maybe hearing about omnivores and carnivores. But these are organisms that feed on particles that are known as detritus. And detritus is organic matter, dead organic matter, and they help decompose that dead organic matter. So detrivores are like your earthworms, that they're going to go through the soil and they're going to eat that organic matter of the soil. They digest decomposers that live on and in the detritus particles. They helped to break down these particles smaller so that decomposers can further decompose the material into a usable form that's able to be picked up by plants. So when we go beyond the consumer categories, categorizing consumers is important, but they're very simple categories and they often don't really express the real complexity of nature. So if we think of herbivores that eat different plant parts, they often really differ in the way that they obtain and digest their food. Like caterpillars are going to eat off of leaves that are on trees, while rabbits are going to eat maybe like dandelions and grasses that are on the ground. And they digest their food a little bit differently as well. When we think about insects like caterpillars, they have something in their digestive system called a gizzard that helps to grind the food up. So do birds. Birds have a gizzard as well, where rabbits won't have that. Cows have a double stomach. and to help digest the plant material that they're eating. So the way that they obtain and digest the food can be totally different. Organisms in nature often do not stay inside the categories that we put them in. So there are some carnivores that will scavenge if they get the chance. If they don't have to chase down and kill, they'll eat a carcass that's there. There's aquatic animals that will eat a mixture of algae as well as bits of animal carcasses and detritus particles. So they kind of eat at different levels within that system, in different feeding levels. And we need to expand upon the consumer categories by discussing the way that the energy and nutrients move through the ecosystems. So in order to do that, we're going to see that in the next section when I believe we talk about food chains and food webs. Okay, so this ends section 3.2, and I will see you in section 3.3 in just a minute.